Excuses are the most dangerous form of self-sabotage because they don't arrive screaming at your doorstep. They slip in quietly, dressed as logic and wrapped in comfort. They sound reasonable, even protective. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I'm too tired today. I'll start tomorrow. These phrases roll off the tongue so easily that we hardly notice how often we use them. But every time you give in to an excuse, you're making a silent agreement with mediocrity. You're deciding, in that moment, that comfort is more important than progress, that fear is more powerful than courage, and that the life you have is the best you'll ever deserve. And here's the harsh truth. Your excuses are destroying your future because you aren't capable, not because opportunities aren't available, but because you are handing your power to hesitation, delay, and fear. Excuses act like thieves, stealing from you in increments so small you don't notice the loss until years have passed. They don't just rob you of today's workout, today's opportunity, or today's risk. They rob you of your entire future. Every time you tell yourself, "I'll do it later," you're borrowing time from a future that may never come. One day you'll look back and realize that later never arrived, that tomorrow stayed tomorrow, and that your potential was buried under a mountain of excuses. And the cruel irony is that life doesn't wait. Opportunities pass. Seasons change. The clock keeps ticking. Your future self will either thank you for your discipline today or curse you for your excuses. The choice is being made in every decision you make or avoid right now. The most destructive thing about excuses is that they disguise themselves as protection. You think you're shielding yourself from failure, embarrassment, or discomfort. But what you're really doing is locking yourself inside a prison of stagnation. Every excuse is a brick, and over time, those bricks build walls so high you can't see beyond them. You're not avoiding pain, you're choosing a different kind of pain. The pain of regret, the pain of never knowing what could have been if you had just tried. And let me be clear, that pain is far heavier than the discomfort of discipline. History is full of men and women who could have leaned on excuses but didn't. Nelson Mandela could have excused himself from fighting for justice after spending 27 years in prison, yet he emerged stronger and became a president who united a divided nation. Oprah Winfrey could have let her impoverished, traumatic childhood become her permanent limitation, yet she built an empire and became one of the most influential voices in the world. Elon Musk could have given up after multiple rocket launch failures that nearly bankrupted him, but he refused to bow to excuses, and today his companies are changing the future of technology. These people weren't spared from difficulty. They weren't luckier than you. They simply refused to allow excuses to dictate their destiny. They felt fear, exhaustion, and doubt just like you do, but they acted anyway. And that is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Excuses don't only cost you dreams, they cost you your very identity. Every time you surrender to one, you tell yourself, "I am someone who doesn't follow through. I am someone who avoids hard things. I am someone who doesn't win." And your subconscious begins to believe it. Slowly, your confidence erodes. You stop trusting yourself. You stop aiming high because, deep down, you no longer believe you'll follow through. That's the real destruction of excuses. Not the opportunities they steal, but the person they turn you into. A person who doubts, delays, and diminishes their own worth. But the good news is this: identity can be rebuilt. The same way excuses shape you into weakness, discipline can shape you into strength. Each time you push past an excuse, you cast a new vote for a stronger identity. Each time you choose action over avoidance, you prove to yourself that you are capable, resilient, and worthy of your dreams. Here's the truth that will set you free. Your excuses are lies. They feel like truth, but they are illusions created by fear. I don't have time. Everyone has 24 hours. The difference is how you choose to use them. I don't have resources. Countless people have started with nothing and built everything. I'm too tired. Energy comes from momentum, not sitting still. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is a graveyard where dreams go to die. Stop lying to yourself. Stop sugarcoating fear. Stop dressing up procrastination as planning. The moment you see your excuses for what they truly are, barriers built from fear, you take the first step toward destroying them. And here's the most empowering part. Excuses lose their power the moment you take action. Action is the antidote. The moment you start, the excuse dies. It doesn't matter if the action is messy, imperfect, or incomplete. Starting kills the excuse. The hardest part of going to the gym is putting on your shoes. The hardest part of starting a business is making the first call. The hardest part of writing a book is typing the first sentence. Excuses thrive in inactivity, but they suffocate when you move. That's why successful people aren't the ones who never feel excuses. They're the ones who learn to move through them. They hear the voice of doubt and act anyway. And you can do the same. So here is your wake-up call. Excuses are not harmless, they are lethal. They are the quiet killers of potential, the invisible destroyers of futures, the silent assassins of dreams. Every time you give in to one, you are surrendering your destiny to fear. But every time you reject an excuse, you reclaim a piece of your future. Don't wait for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Build discipline. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time doesn't exist. Create progress in imperfect conditions. Don't wait for fear to disappear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in spite of it. Your life will not change when the excuses stop appearing. They will always be there. Your life will change when you stop obeying them. Excuses may have stolen pieces of your past, but they don't have to destroy your future. The moment you decide that comfort will no longer rule your life, that fear will no longer dictate your choices, and that excuses will no longer chain you down, that's the moment you step into your power. And when you do, you will look back one day and realize that the very excuses that once tried to destroy you were actually the fuel that lit your fire. Because when you conquer excuses, you don't just build a future, you build yourself into someone unstoppable. There will come a day, maybe sooner than you think, when you look into the mirror and realize that the only person standing between the life you live and the life you want has always been you. Not your parents, not your boss, not your past, not your circumstances. You and the weapon that has kept you trapped, more than any failure, more than any obstacle, more than any enemy, has been the excuses you've chosen to believe. They've been whispering to you for years, convincing you to wait, convincing you to shrink, convincing you to settle. But deep down, you know the truth. Excuses are lies, and lies are poison. They've stolen enough from you already. And today, right here, right now, you must decide, are you going to keep handing over your power? Or are you finally going to take control of your future? Excuses are easy. That's why most people never rise above average. Average lives are built on excuses. I didn't have the time, I wasn't ready, it wasn't fair, it was too hard. And you know what? Those excuses sound reasonable. They sound justifiable. But reasonable excuses create miserable lives. Justifiable excuses bury dreams in shallow graves. Hardship does not destroy futures, hesitation does. Fear does not kill destiny, excuses do. And while the crowd hides behind their reasons, the few who rise are the ones who silence the voice of excuses with the roar of action. You cannot be among the extraordinary if you are addicted to excuses. You cannot claim greatness if you keep defending limitations. You cannot build a legacy while clinging to lies. The time has come to see excuses for what they truly are. The comfort blankets of the fearful. They feel safe, but they smother your potential. They feel protective, but they suffocate your progress. And the longer you hold on to them, the weaker you become. But here's the miracle: excuses have no real power. They only survive if you keep feeding them with belief. The moment you decide to reject them, they crumble like dust in your hands. The first time you act despite the excuse, you feel the chains break. The second time, you feel momentum. The third time, you start to transform. And soon, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. Action is the enemy of excuses, and action is always within your control. Look back for a moment at your life so far. Think about the opportunities you've missed, the dreams you've delayed, the goals you abandoned. Were those failures because you weren't capable, or were they because you let an excuse convince you not to try? Maybe you said, "I don't have the time." But the truth is, you spent hours scrolling, binge-watching, or distracting yourself. Maybe you said, "I don't have the resources." But the truth is, you never looked hard enough for solutions, because the excuse was easier than the effort. Maybe you said, "I'll start tomorrow." But how many tomorrows have already passed you by? Excuses don't just destroy potential, they create regret. And regret is the heaviest weight you will ever carry. Now, imagine the opposite. Imagine what your life could look like if you stopped making excuses and started making decisions. What if instead of "I don't have time," you said, "I will make time"? Instead of "I don't know how," you said, "I will learn." Instead of "It's too hard," you said, "It's worth it." Instead of "I'll do it tomorrow," you said, "I'll do it now." Imagine the compound effect of that mindset over days, months, and years. Small acts of courage become habits. Habits become identity. Identity becomes destiny. And soon, you are living a life not built on excuses but built on action, courage, and progress. That's the life waiting for you on the other side of fear. That's the life waiting for you the moment you stop hiding and start moving. But don't just imagine it, decide it. Decide now, because there is no other time. Tomorrow is a fantasy. Yesterday is gone. The only place change ever happens is here, and the only time is now. Your future is not built in the vague somedays of life, it is built in the concrete todays. And if you want to build something extraordinary, you cannot afford to waste another day in the arms of excuses. You must wake up with determination, act with discipline, and refuse to let your comfort zone be your coffin. You must be ruthless with your excuses, because they are ruthless with you. If you give them an inch, they will take your entire life. And here's the beautiful part. Once you stop making excuses, you stop living small. You stop playing the victim of circumstance and start playing the creator of destiny. You stop lowering your standards and start raising your results. You stop settling for what's easy and start reaching for what's possible. That's when life begins to feel alive again. That's when confidence returns. That's when passion reignites. That's when your purpose finally has room to breathe. And the people around you, your family, your friends, your community will feel that shift. Your courage will give them permission to face their own excuses. Your growth will inspire their growth. Your discipline will light their path. That is how leaders are born, not because they never felt fear, but because they never surrendered to it. So let this be your turning point. Let this be the day you say, "No more." No more lying to yourself. No more letting excuses steal your future. No more handing your destiny to fear. From this moment forward, make a vow. When the voice of excuses rises, you will rise louder. When fear whispers, you will shout with action. When hesitation knocks, you will answer with courage. Your life is too precious, your dreams are too valuable, and your potential is too powerful to waste. Stop making excuses, start making moves, stop delaying, start deciding, stop shrinking, start rising. Because here is the ultimate truth. Excuses are temporary, but regret is forever, and the pain of discipline will never come close to the pain of wasted potential. Do not let your story end as a tale of what could have been. Write it as a testimony of what I chose to create. Your future is waiting, your dreams are waiting, your destiny is waiting. None of them will wait forever. The clock is ticking. The question is not whether you can, the question is whether you will. And the answer begins right now, in this moment, with this decision. No more excuses. Only action. Only courage. Only control. Your life is yours. Your time is now. Your excuses are dead. Go build the future that only you can create.